So good morning and welcome to this morning's meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. I'm Councillor Sandra Moore and I'm going to ask for my colleagues to say who wants to be the chair of the committee. Can you do a proposal?
I propose yourself, Councillor Moore.
And I second.
And you second. Thank you. So first of all, have we got any apologies?
No apologies received, Chair.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Can I ask my colleagues, have they got any declarations of interest?
None from me, Councillor.
Okay.
Not for me either.
Okay. And I haven't either. Thank you. So item 4, protocol for public speaking, and a protocol is attached to the agenda. So we go straight on then into, sorry.
Try to see the housekeeping.
Yes.
I'm just going to read out the housekeeping notice. So please note that this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee is being recorded by the Council for live broadcast up until the exclusion of the press and public, and will be published on the Council website for a minimum of 6 months. For those in the room, please note that if the fire alarm sounds, we will exit by way of the nearest available signposted route and assembly under Brady Road. Just to point out that we are due a fire drill at 10 o'clock. So any time now, when that happens, we will mute ourselves so that you don't hear the ringing. So it is just a drill this morning. Finally, please can we ensure that background noise is kept to a minimum and mobile phones and other devices are turned off and switched to silent for the duration of the meeting. For those in the room, this includes turning off microphones and muting the volume on laptops. If anybody wishes to say anything when you're joining virtually, if you can use the raise your hand button on your device, and that will let us know that you wish to speak. Thank you very much. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Right, so we go on to the item 5, which is an application that's been received for a new premises licence for the premises known as Gaja. Have I got that right? Yeah.
That's correct.
And that's located at 360 Charminster Road, Bournemouth. And this matter is brought before the Licensing Subcommittee for determination. So I'm now going to ask everyone to introduce themselves and state their role. So as I said, I'm Councillor Sandra Moore, and I will be chairing this subcommittee today. We go through.
Hello, I'm Councillor Michelle Dower. I'm a member of the Licensing Committee and the Licensing Subcommittee.
Hello, I'm Adrian Chapman-Law, Councillor Adrian Chapman-Law, and I am a member of the Licensing Committee and Subcommittee today.
Thank you. We also have Councillor Farquhar here, who's a reserve member, but he's obviously we're here, so he's not required to participate because we're here. But he may observe for training purposes, but he's not going to take part in the hearing or in any of the deliberations. So we have our licensing officer.
Yes, Tanya Jardine, licensing officer, and who's administered the application.
And our legal advisor.
Good morning, I'm Linda Cole, advising the subcommittee this morning.
Thank you. And we have our clerk, Michelle.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Cutler and I'm the clerk to the Licensing Subcommittee this morning.
Thank you. And obviously we have our applicant, Ms. Wozniak. Is that okay for pronunciation?
Yes, hello. Good morning.
Thank
Yes,
you.
my name is Katarzyna Woźniak and I am the applicant.
Okay. And do we have Mr. Naidu?
Good morning. I'm the DPS for the premises itself, so I'll be the one that's actually going to be measuring and working there.
Okay. Thank you. And we have our objector, Mr. Bala. Yeah, you're muted still, Mr. Bala.
Good morning, my name is Michael Bala, and
That's
I'm
lovely.
the objector.
Yes, thank you for that. Right, so before I run through the procedure, can I check that everyone who's given notice of their intention to speak have been identified, and anyone who wishes to withdraw representation or wishes not to speak has also been identified? No comments, so I'm going to take that as correct. So now I'm going to explain the proposed procedure and order of speaking for the hearing, which is as follows. The licensing officer presents the report. Questions of the licensing officer by all parties, but members of the subcommittee will go first. The applicant will make their application. Questions of the applicant by all parties, and again, members of the subcommittee will go first. Objectors will make their representations, and then questions of the objector. Members of the subcommittee again go first. All parties will be given an opportunity to sum up, with the party who spoke last, that's the objector, to go first. The hearing will then conclude, and the subcommittee will deliberate in private with our legal advisor and our clerk present. Notification of the subcommittee's decision will be given, where possible, within the period of 5 working days, beginning with the day or the last day on which the hearing was held. The notification of decision will include information about the right of appeal as appropriate. So can I ask all parties to confirm agreement on the proposed procedure or make representations now? Ms. Wozniak, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Naidu?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Bala?
Yes.
Okay. Legal, Tanya? And you?
Yes, I'm happy with that procedure.
You're okay?
Thank you very much. Yes,
Right. So finally, can I remind all parties speaking not to repeat the information which they've already given in writing, but to expand on their written representations. All questions are to be asked through the chair, and there will be no cross-examination of parties. So now I'm going to ask the licensing officer to present the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So the application before you today is to consider whether to grant a new premises licence at Garja at 360 Charminster Road, Bournemouth. These premises already hold a premises licence which permits the on-sale supply of alcohol Monday to Sunday, 1100 to 2200 hours. The existing premises licence was granted in January 2019, however transferred in May this year to Mr. Naidu, who is the proposed designated premises supervisor for the application before you today. The applicant made application for a new premises licence to permit on and off sales of alcohol and recorded music Monday to Thursday, 1200 to 0000 hours, and Friday to Sunday, 1200 to 0200 hours, and for the provision of live music Friday to Sunday from 1800 to 0000 hours. The applicant and Mr. Naidu have advised that should the new licence be granted, the current premises licence under BH1 68220 will be surrendered. The licensing office initially received 4 representations from local residents, however, one has since been withdrawn. Members will note one of the representations refers to and includes a petition or survey carried out by a local resident. That document has been accepted as an exhibit to the resident's representation and not as a representation on its own. Representations were made on the grounds that the application would undermine the prevention of crime and disorder and the public nuisance licensing objectives. The applicant entered into mediation with Trading Standards and Dorset Police and agreed conditions which I listed in my report. In addition, they agreed with Dorset Police that the terminal hour for sale of alcohol be amended to 22:30 and they would close the premises and consequently stop regulated entertainment at 2300 hours. We received no representations from any of the responsible authorities, any other responsible authorities. The applicant contacted the local residents who made representation to explain the proposed operation and offered to remove regulated entertainment from the application. Members will be aware that any entertainment in the form of live or recorded music before 2300 hours is permitted by way of a deregulation provided by the Live Music Act 2012 at venues where the licensing of alcohol is permitted. So although the applicant has decided to remove regulated entertainment from the application and it would not appear on the licence should it be granted, the premises will still be permitted to carry out such activities at all times the supply of alcohol is permitted. So members are asked to consider whether to grant the application, and should the licence be granted and the applicants fail to operate in accordance with their licence and any conditions attached to it, they will be aware that any responsible authorities or other persons may request a review of the licence at any time. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Has anybody got any questions for the licensing officer, members? Okay. Right, so can now go over to the applicant, Ms. Wozniak, to make their application.
Hello, good morning. Yes, the application originally was made for completely different opening times. Since the application is being made, we've been in talks with Dorset Police, and we've realized that the timings were way too late for that residential area. We've reduced the opening hours till 2300 with the last sale of alcohol until 10:30, which I think is the normal opening hours for a restaurant. We also decided to change completely the premises. It used to be a drinking establishment only. We are right now in the process of applying for a planning permission for extractor fan to open up a kitchen as well. One of the conditions that if the license will be granted will be that the food has to be sold with the alcohol on the premises, so that it won't be a case of people coming only for a drink. I've contacted pretty much, I think, everyone from the survey, everyone who objected to the license, trying to explain that this won't be a late night pub as it was portrayed to people. I've received few responses, which I think they are attached to licensing officer report. And I think that's it for me. I don't have plans to do a live music in there as the venue is way too small. I don't think live music is appropriate for people when they're dining. I was more thinking about having a saxophonist or maybe a guitarist playing a background music while people are eating. Live bands were never our intentions, as the venue is just too small for it. And I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
Yes. Hi, I'm Mr. Naidu. Originally, with the premises, we've moved to Bournemouth 3 years ago, and we've had restaurants in London, eating in restaurant, not bars. So we understand the profitability of actually having a restaurant is actually better than a bar. So surveying the area for the last 3 years, we found first and last, which was the ideal place for us. And we started to, survey the area and speak to the owner. And the application for the late license was just because the previous owner said that if he had a late license, he wouldn't have had to sell, because he felt like selling, food and alcohol past the 10:30, 11 o'clock would actually help him boost his revenue. So that's the only reason why we actually applied for the late license.
Sorry. Can we just have a couple of seconds? There's a fire alarm going off, but it is a test. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh, having said that, it's just stopped.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry about the interruption.
No problem.
Could you just repeat the last little bit that you said, because oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry, it's going to go again.
No problem.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
It's a test, isn't it?
Yeah,
When is
it's
it?
a test.
That's what it's about.
I hope it's a test.
Because of the doors. So
There we go.
okay, sorry about the interruption. If you'd just like to repeat the last couple of sentences that you made.
Sure,
Thank you.
Yeah, so upon surveying the area, we spoke to the owner of the business as well, the previous owner, and he emphasized on having a late license because he felt that serving food after 10:30, 11 o'clock would be beneficial to the business, and he would generate more revenue. At the end of the day, that's the only reason why we've applied for the later license. Otherwise, the current license would have been sufficient. Our intention was to actually run a restaurant, not a drinking establishment, because at the end of the day, we find the profitability in running a bar after 9:30 gets a little lower because people sit a longer time with the alcohol. So you don't get to make as much money. But with food, it's a high turnaround. People have a nice meal, bigger profit margins with a nice glass of wine. And that was basically our intention to run a restaurant. But I think for somehow or the other, people got the impression that it's going to be another bar. I think that's why the confusion is actually baffled us all. But as Kasha just said, we've removed the late license working with the Dorset Police, because the most important thing for us is we understand a venue like this and what it has to do with the community and what the community can do for the venue as well, because it takes two hands to clap. We need each other. Another very important point is working in the restaurant industry, we understand how the community can work with us. And even our previous establishments, we worked a lot with the charities, taking children off the street, helping them, get into football leagues and things like that. So everything will work with us. We're just not coming into the venue like going to be another pub establishment where we're going to be disrupting the community. Because at the end of the day, selling food and alcohol is our main objective, not just having a drinking establishment, creating more nuisance for the community. And we can completely understand the objections, because if we were living in that sort of community as well, we'd want to protect the environment, protect the children, protect the residents. And with regards to our application for the license, I wish we could actually have a live seating at the restaurant. You could see what it was and what it is going to be. And I like that idea of having a violinist, while I'm having dinner with my partner. And we find that the 10 o'clock cutoff for a restaurant is a bit too rushed. So what actually happens is we eat out quite a bit, and you people are pushing you for your starter, main course, and desserts, and we'd rather have that extra half an hour to have a few seatings. So having a few seatings will eliminate people sitting and getting drunk all the time. So I hope, at the end of the day, that having a restaurant feel is much better than having a bar feel. That's pretty much what I'd like to say.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, members, questions? Who's the applicant? Any questions from either of you?
I do.
Yeah, okay, you carry on.
Hi, just a quick question from me, just to clarify. So you've said that the actual kitchen you haven't got planning permission for that yet. Is that correct?
No, not yet. It took us quite a long time to get all the paperwork ready, as there wasn't a kitchen there before. So we've given out all the paperwork to the person. I think he's applying for it this week.
Yeah, so
submitting the application.
Yeah, so we also stopped the works. Reason being, so we weren't completely sure what was going to happen with the premises license. So this is the reason, because it's a major investment for the extraction unit, the application, the kitchen equipment. At the moment right now, with the current investment we've invested into the restaurant is considerably high. So we thought we'll do everything in the background in the meantime with regards to the application, but we haven't really commenced just yet.
Okay, just to clarify then, can I just ask a sort of follow-up question?
Yeah.
So if the license is agreed, when will you be actually opening?
Once the planning permission for the kitchen is done, so it'll be open together with a kitchen and a bar.
Okay, thank you.
If it's agreed, yes.
You got any questions? Any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Barlow, have you got any questions you'd like to ask the applicant?
Well, my main concern. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, it's
my
sorry,
main concern.
it's not your concern. I was just asking you whether or not you'd got any questions at this moment. You have your opportunity. You can carry on now if you'd like, rather
Yeah,
to make your case. Yeah.
Well, they're saying they're doing a kitchen. Where will the funds be? Will it be in the back of the buildings, and will it interfere with the floods in the back with all the smell and everything coming out?
No, it won't. It's a very high spec extraction unit.
Excuse me. Sorry. That will be part of your planning application, and there will be opportunity for you to make representations about that at the time, but that isn't a licensing concern at the moment.
Are you talking to me?
Well, I'm talking to both of you.
Okay.
Because you don't need to explain about the planning at the moment.
Well,
you can't complain about the planning at the moment.
Okay.
You
sorry.
made so
No.
the objection that you made was your concern about the noise. So
Yeah.
the chair's invited you now to make that objection, but it must be based on the representation that you've already made.
Yeah. So can I
Okay, do you
talk?
understand?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do. Yes.
you carry on now. Yeah, you make your representation.
Okay. When first and last opened, we had lots of noises coming out from outside where people drinking, swearing, and all sorts of language. One night there was a live music until 11 o'clock in the evening, and it all comes through my walls into where kids sleep. So it was really noisy. The reason I objected was because they wanted to do a live music and recorded music until 2 a.m. in the morning, which I don't agree with, because we all residents here, all families all around. So that's the reason I objected. I did not object in any other reasons for being a restaurant, because on the application it didn't say it was a restaurant on the paper that was stuck on the window. It just said the opening time and Gaia, which I didn't know what it was. That was my main objection. I had no other objections.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask members now if they've got any questions.
Okay, thank you. Just to clarify, so the application for the license has now changed to reflect different opening hours, and it'll be a restaurant, and it will be no live music. So on that basis, does your objection still stand?
No, I have no problem. I did reply to Wozak, to Miss Wozak, about the 11 o'clock opening time. That's not an issue. It was just the 2 o'clock and the loud music. That's all.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, I think that's answered all my questions as well. Thank you.
The licensing officer?
No, thank you.
Very okay. Ms. Wozniak, have you like to ask any questions?
No, nothing from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Bala, you've confirmed that you've withdrawn then your representation based on the amendments that's made to the application.
Yes,
that right?
if the restaurant stays open till 11, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, well, we're in the situation that there is actually no representations from Mr. Nalis. We've just then got to consider the other representations that are remaining in the pack.
Thank you for that clarification. So basically the hearing can now conclude, and the subcommittee will be able to deliberate in private. Sorry, I think I've got it wrong. Just hold on. All right. Yeah. Would you like to sum up, Ms. Wozniak?
Yes, I think it is just the fact that the new licensing time that we're hoping to get is 12 to 11 with the last sale of alcohol at 10:30. As I said, from my part, there will be no live music such as live bands or anything like that. We would like the condition to be on the license as well that we will open up a restaurant when the kitchen is ready. So we're not going to open up as a drinking establishment only. We will wait for the kitchen to be built, for all the planning permissions to come through, and then we will open up. Yes, and I am here if anybody has any suggestions or maybe amendments that I can make. I'm here. I'm willing to work with the community. I'm willing to work with organizations, and hopefully get the place open soon. That's it from me. Thank you.
Okay. So we have got a couple of other written representations where there are objection. I don't know if anybody would like to ask any questions about those, either of you.
No questions from me, thank you.
Okay. So did you want to ask any questions about the written or give any explanations about the written representations that we've had? Ms. Wozniak?
I do just have something to say in regards to the written
Yeah.
objections that were made. I wrote a total of 22 emails to every person that made an objection or signed the survey and provide their email addresses. Some of the individuals didn't provide their email address, so I wrote a total of 11 letters that were posted to everyone who provided their home address. The letters have been posted by recorded delivery service, so I hope that everyone got them. Over the mitigation period, I have received few responses which are forming the part of the report. I believe that I have done whatever I could to contact everyone and explain to them what GAJA is going to be, as the majority of the objections and the results of the survey were because of the individuals were wrongly informed about the nature of the place I'm planning to open. From the neighboring businesses and residents, I have been informed that the leaflets have been made and distributed, stating that I am trying to open up a late night pub, which we can see from my application is not the case. It saddens me that whoever made those leaflets didn't put one through my letterbox. Signatures under the survey were collected under the wrong information given by those individuals. Over the past weeks, I have allowed for everyone to contact me and come and see what I'm trying to do with the place. No one came apart from 2 people. On the 24th of November, I was at the site and had the designers there for the planning permissions. While we were out at the back, we met Mrs. Angela Shepherd. We walked towards her and introduced ourselves. We offered Mrs. Shepherd to come and have a look at the progress we are making and what we're trying to do with the place. She didn't want to come, but then eventually she did. We showed her around, and from my impressions that she was pleasantly surprised at the look of the venue as it's been completely transformed. We spoke about lots of different things, and she complimented me on the email on all the responses that I wrote to everyone. We explained that we won't be having a live band and no late license, which she was very relieved about. We sympathized with her previous experience and tried to give her assurance that history will not be repeated. We tried to tell her on numerous occasions that her previous experience has nothing to do with us, as we have the relevant experience to ensure that this won't be repeated. We also explained her about our business history. Amongst other things, Mrs. Shepherd wanted to know how we will control the crowds and smoking outside. We explained that we are planning to have 3 dinner sittings, which will be kind of limited to 2.5 hours per sitting, so that people won't really have much time to go outside for a cigarette and talk outside the premises, as they will come mainly to have their dinner, a glass of nice wine, and then they will go home. It seems that Mrs. Shepherd claims that she has had very bad experience over the years with the venues and the surrounding, attracting the wrong clients. We explained that our place will be an upmarket restaurant, and she won't have any of that. We tried to give her all the comfort and guarantees that the venue will bring a lot of value to the area and a nice place for people with their families to eat. As we all know, there is not many places in Charminster where we can go with our kids and have a nice meal. Whilst we were there, she questioned the planning permission person who was there about the chimney and things like that, but obviously that has nothing to do with the licensing part of it. She also said to me that she will speak to everyone that signed the survey and explain to them that she has met me and my plans are not to open a pub or a bar only. I found some of the questions of Mrs. Shepherd quite difficult to answer, as there is certain things that I can control in regards to the customers coming to my venue and leaving my venue. But unfortunately, I can't control what's happening on Charminster Road, which is a high street. And people leaving from different venues has completely nothing to do with me. We've tried to comfort her with the knowledge that we have and the experience that we have. Mrs. Shepherd was telling me about BCP Council inability to vet people properly, and that the council gives out the licenses to everyone. I was like, I am not everyone. I'm just a girl who has a dream, who is trying to open up something nice for the area. And I found that comment a little bit insulting and discriminating, because I am being judged by something that I haven't even opened yet. I didn't even have a chance to prove to the community what I'm trying to do. Mrs. Shepherd also commented on something that which hasn't been sitting right with us for a while. I think as a part of her objection, it was the fact that her grandson hasn't been well or hasn't been sleeping properly. She also said to me that she can get a doctor's notes for her grandchild's well-being. She doesn't want to do that, but she will do it if she will have to. I found that a little bit threatening, as I don't understand what that has to do with me, and we haven't even opened up yet. So how can I contribute it to her grandchild's well-being? At the beginning, we received, I think, objection from her son, who lives like about 2 doors above the property. But Mr. Shepherd withdrawn his objection after my email and the letter explaining like this is not going to be a pub, there is not going to be a live music, it's going to be a nice restaurant, which I think it will bring a lot of value to the area, which is a little bit run down. We all know what Charminster look like. A lot of people, since that conversation with Mr. Shepherd, I was like, something is not right there. So I've decided to go to the premises, open up for a couple of hours every day, do some cleaning around, maybe sweeping around, so I can be there and I can be approached by maybe other residents who want to ask me something. We have received a lot of people that used to come in and be like, oh my God, what a beautiful place. When are you planning to open up? What is it going to be? And they were like, oh, we've heard it's going to be a pub. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be a pub. It was never our intentions. Our intentions from the very beginning was that it is going to be a restaurant. I think that's for me. I just hope that the committee will see that the value of a nice restaurant, what it can bring to that area, and my willingness to work with organizations in the local area, and all the residents won't go unnoticed. So that's it from me, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for a very thorough explanation. Thank you. Right, I think I can now conclude the hearing. This time I've got it right. We're going to adjourn in private with our legal advisor and our clerk, and we're going to deliberate. So you can now leave, and the decision is going to be conveyed to you in writing, as I explained earlier. So thank you very much for coming, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so in relation to the items of business appearing below, the subcommittee is asked to consider the following resolution: that under section 100 bracket A bracket 4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraphs 1 and 2 in part 1 of the Schedule 12A of the Act, and that the public interest in withholding the information outweighs such interest in disclosing the information.
Thank you, Chair. I will now end the live stream and I will let you know when that has been turned off.